customer, and this has been proven, we've done a lot of eye studies on Amazon, customers' behavior when they look at a detail page, immediately your eyes go to the image of the product. So that's the first thing that they look at, which is very important. The title, another very important thing, so you want to make sure that you include a good description of the product in the title. And then after that, so you look at image, title, and then the next thing that they look at is going to be the bullet points. These are going to be things that you want to highlight to the customer about the product. It can be, you know, functionality. It can be that, you know, something about your company, but it's something that you want to highlight to the customer and indicate to them, you know, this is why this product is better than a competitor. That's what you want to make sure that that's coming across in these bullet points. 3 are required, and then you can go up to 5. And then we have the product description, and this is going to be a more detailed description than the title. So the title will be like a brief description of the product, kind of highlighting exactly what it is. The product description can go, it's not to exceed 2,000 characters, so it is kind of like a paragraph form. We do want a little bit more detail here. And that's going to be where you can describe not only about the product, but what it's used for, you know, why it's better than your competitors, why a customer would want that product in particular. So you can get more into, you know, really what it's used for more than anything. And I know products can have multiple uses, but here's kind of where you can just kind of go through examples, at least for the customer. Search keywords, this is optional, but I do recommend that you do put in keywords here. We already search on anything that's in your title, so brand, part number, product type. That's not necessary to include here in the keyword search terms, but you can use other things that wouldn't be in your title that you want customers to search for. So if this isn't going to be shown on the detail page, but if you're a customer and you search, you know, microscope in the overall search bar, then it'll pop up anything microscope. You can get more specific and do compound microscope or inverted microscope, or, you know, something a little bit more specific here as well. And so you want to use those keyword searches here.
Can I ask a couple questions there? So could you potentially put in like Fisher VWR part numbers?
You can, yeah. So if you're a customer, if you feel that your customers are used to searching for parts by their Fisher or VWR part numbers, Grainger part numbers, you know, another distributor or retailer's part number that they assign, you can put those here as well, and then if they search on that term, it'll pop up as well.
So another possibility I think that would work, like I was talking to a manufacturer of GC columns the other day, and I happen to know the DB5 is the standard in the industry for a lot of environmental analysis. They don't make a DB5, but if you put DB5 in this column AA, if someone was searching for that, they go, hey, it isn't an Agilent one, but it's or I can't remember.
Yep.
So you, I guess, gang, you can put in competitor part numbers in there as well.
Yeah, you can.
All right.
Yep.
That's good to know.
Yeah. Country of origin, this is not going to be shown on the detail page, but it's really for our legal purposes. We require to know where the product was manufactured. So country of origin of the product. Manufacturer, this is going to be essentially you as the manufacturer, or if you're distributing the product for another manufacturer, you would put that here. Then we have kind of packaging dimensions and weight. This is really primarily for our fulfillment center use, so that we can gauge and estimate how much it's going to cost us to ship the product. So we do ask for you to do package length, width, and height, and then the package weight. And this is going to be the sellable unit and then we'll need that in inches and pounds. And that's essentially just for our use to kind of estimate and get transportation costs. And then we also use it kind of to estimate exactly where, what fulfillment center to order into, because we separate them out by size of products. Okay, is a replacement part. This is just basically, is it an OEM or generic part that's a portion of a product? So is it used as like a replacement? Would it be something that would be used again for part of a product? These are all optional as well. Product site launch date. This is optional, but if you have a specific launch date of the product, so if it hasn't been launched yet, you can actually put in a future date here, so that we wouldn't actually create this product. We would create the product, but the detail page would be suppressed to the customers until this date. It's used a lot more frequently in video games or something like that, where you actually have a full launch date. But if you have a new product that hasn't been released yet, you want to go ahead and get it set up, you can go ahead and get it set up and then put a launch date on it when you think that that's going to happen. This is optional, but Proposition 65. Required field, if the item is a liquid. Most products aren't, but we do have some chemicals that are liquid, so you would want to click yes here for anything that's a liquid. Optional, and then kind of hazardous materials. So is it hazardous material or dangerous goods? Unit standard. This is going to be, the unit standard is going to be either, I think it's US or metric, yeah. And then your dimensions are essentially going to be, if I choose metric, the dimensions are all going to be in metric. So millimeters, centimeters, and then this is going to become grams, kilograms, milligrams. If I go back and choose US, this now becomes imperial. So feet and inches, and then this becomes ounces and pounds. And that's going to be on the item. So item level, unit standard, dimensions, and then color, this is optional. Item depth, optional. Item length, height, and width are all going to be required. So this is also going to be just the item length, height, and width of the product. If it's a box of gloves or a box of a pack of something, just enter the box dimensions. A good thing to note is that the item length, width, and height must be smaller than the package length, width, and height. So even though if it's the same thing, just like half an inch or a quarter of an inch, a tenth of an inch smaller makes a difference in our system. So it won't actually allow the template to go through to be created unless the item length, width, and height are smaller than your package length, width, and height. Same thing is going to be true with the item weight. So the weight must be smaller than the package. Volume units, this is real, you can just choose something. Unless you have a volume, it won't be, it says it's required, but it won't pick up anything. So just click on whichever one comes up. Material type is required. This is required because it's one of the basic it's one of the basic refinements that we have on the website. So if you're searching for a product, we do allow customers to refine based on a lot of different things. They can refine based on brand. They can refine based on availability, so prime, or anything that's in stock. They can refine their search results based on that. This is also one of the refinements, is material type. If you don't think this applies, you can leave it blank, and I can create an exception without this. It just would not show up in that refinement. Item weight we covered. And then these are all optional, really depending on the product, if you have something that really applies here. And then pressure units, you can choose one. It's required, but really won't apply unless you have a pressure. And these are all optional, again, very dependent on the type of product that you're setting up. This is also a requirement, shouldn't be. I think if you choose the material type, then you wouldn't need this, but you can just say no. Also, this is just a legal requirement. If the item is like a toy, this is going to be no in most cases.